So getting into tech was rough. I'm not even gonna lie. Thank God you was there to help me throughout the road. It was really challenging in the sense that I applied to so many jobs. I remember one time I checked like how many jobs I applied to in that 6 month period. I kid you not, I applied to over like 500 jobs.
Yeah. Hey, what up, fam? Welcome back to another episode of Africans in Tech, where we're bridging gaps and shaping futures in tech. My name is Sar Leby, and we got another hot fire episode here with my bro.
Yes.
On this episode, we got my brother, like my real brother, Richard Kamara. Big man.
Got it right.
And he's going to just talk to us about his experience in tech, kind of getting into it. And yeah, just going to dive deep and we're going to get started. So, Rich, if you don't mind, man, just kind of, tell us who you are. You can start off where you're born and going to school and all that other jazz, man. So, feel free, bro.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Hello, guys. Ladies and gentlemen. My name is Richard Kamara, born and raised in Sierra Leone. Was in the Gambia for a little bit and then moved to the States. Was in Maryland for a while. Went to middle school, high school, and then a little bit of college, and then transferred to school down in Georgia, where I was studying healthcare administration. Graduated during COVID time, actually, 2019. That's when COVID like really hit. So graduating as a college student, I was thinking, how am I going to use my major to get a job? A lot of people were getting laid off. And then luckily, my brother was already in the IT field, and he told me about a great tool, which we'll go into soon. That's just a surface level introduction.
Cool, man. Where'd you come from, Gambia?
Came to the state from the Gambia back in 2008.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And you're a soccer fan, right?
Sorry?
You're a soccer fan?
Oh. Yeah. From the day one. Yeah.
Who's your team?
Chelsea.
Okay.
Always.
Okay. All right. I don't know much about soccer. I used to, which is bad. My African card's probably going to get revoked. But yeah, man, cool. All right, and then you played in high school, right?
So funny thing is, when I came from Africa, I was really into soccer, and then in middle school, I played in the 8th grade. But in the neighborhood, it was a lot of American kids, and they don't play soccer at all. Yeah. At that time, soccer was not really a thing in America. It was mostly football and basketball.
Yeah.
And most of the friends that I had, they played either football or basketball. And I had a neighbor, we were really close. His son, we kind of became like best friends at the time. Started teaching me how to play football. That's how I got into football. So football is kind of like, American football is kind of like my second favorite sport.
Okay.
And I like playing it a lot.
Cool. Receiver, corner?
Receiver.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool, man. All right. Okay, so sports-wise, are you playing sports in college or anything like that?
I didn't play for the school. I play like clubs, and then I play like a semi-pro-ish UPSL for like a year with some college roommates.
Okay.
And just pick up soccer nowadays. I'm getting too old.
Gotcha, man. Why did you choose health administration?
African parents. They don't want you to be in the healthcare field, a lawyer, or some. They have 3 basic professions that everybody got to be in.
Yes, sir.
So my mom wanted me to be a nurse. And patient-wise, I'm not really that patient.
Yeah.
So I was like, nursing is not. I was like, nursing is not going to be the move for me. So I chose something that is still in the healthcare field.
Okay.
Healthcare administration, you don't really get to. I mean, you get to work with like patients, but you're mostly on the admin side, where you make like rules and regulations and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
So that's why I venture into that.
Okay, so not more like the hands-on clinical.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, cool, man. And then, all right, so I remember you were graduating. Mom hit me up. She's like, "Please, you have to help your brother. You have to help your brother."
Funny thing is, when I was graduating, I and Mom were talking. I was really gonna get into IT as like a secondary, if I can find a job. And then I remember I hit you up and you was like, there's this new tool that is out, it's pretty hot.
Yeah.
You should look into it. And then I was like, yeah, I'm pretty interested when I did some research. So
yeah. Cool, man.
Yeah.
All right, so we're kind of getting into it. So we're gonna just jump right in.
Sounds good.
So what do you do like in tech?
So I'm a Splunk engineer. It depends on the job description. Can be a security engineer using the tool Splunk, but the title is Splunk engineer. So I do both front end and back end. It requires a lot of
Yeah.
work and effort, stress,
Yeah.
fast pace. You got to learn new things every day. So yeah, so I'm a Splunk engineer.
Cool, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've talked a few episodes now. Adrian was on before and not you, so we definitely talked about Splunk quite a bit. So
Yep.
it's good. It runs in the family, as you guys know. All right, cool. So you're doing Splunk. What are other tools I guess you work with alongside like Splunk?
Company wise, I've used different variations of tools. Linux. Linux go hand in hand with Splunk,
Yeah.
Especially on the back end side, onboarding data, writing like scripts and stuff. Worked with CrowdStrike, Palo Alto. I've done syslog here and there. Not really. We usually have like a dedicated team that does that. Rapid 7. I've worked with a bunch of tools. Oh, the big one, AWS, Azure,
Yep.
GCP.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, I know. Probably almost every environment I've been
Yep.
on, it's like you got to onboard AWS or Azure logs
Yep.
at some point in time. So, yeah, cool, cool. All right. So I got a couple questions that we're gonna just kind of kick off some softballs outside of who you are and what you do. All right. So you sort of hinted at it a little bit, like how did you get into tech? The official. You
Oh
can tell.
yeah. So getting into tech was rough. I'm not even gonna lie. Thank God you was there to help me throughout the road. I remember when I first got I was taking the class, which the class that you was actually teaching. I was taking your class, and then I was seeing how it is. In the class, we had a bunch of other students that were newbies as well, so we had a great connection, studying and all that. And then once the class concluded, that's where the real journey began. I applied to so many jobs. What? It took me a good 6 to 7 months at least to get my first gig. But the interview process was the most challenging part. Since I was coming from college, I didn't have any IT background. My main issue with interviews, I used to say a lot of I remember you always used to get on me like, bro,
I do that
stop
right now.
saying a lot.
Nick literally gets on me about that right now on the podcast.
He's always like, bro, stop saying they can tell like you're a newbie. You gotta speak proper. I was like, I don't know. So like that was also a learning process and also answering questions. Like some IT folks that have been in the field for like 10, 15 years, they can spot like who has been in the IT field for a while and who's a newbie. So that was really challenging. Another thing is the pay grade was crazy. Like I remember the first interview that I got, I remember I was sitting across from you in your office. And then I was talking to the guy, and then he was like, oh, by the way, this is the rate. I'm not going to say it out loud, but he's like, by the way, this is the rate. I remember I was like, huh? And I looked at you, but you couldn't really hear what he was saying. And then after the call concluded, I was like, bro, was he pulling my leg? And I told you the amount, and he was like, and you were like, nah, bro, that's the IT field for you. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I just graduated and I can make this? Yeah, bet. So after hearing that, I started like practicing more. I remember I would stay up till like 3, 4 in the morning. Excuse me. Just practicing, trying to like brushing my skill. As time went on and months went on, I got better and better with interviews, and then I landed my first gig. So
yeah. I mean, just going back to that very key important point you just made, staying up to 2, 3 in the morning practicing like your craft and really trying to make sure that you're versed at that. That's huge. A lot of folks who are getting into the tech space right now, like I said before, they're lazy. You expect stuff to kind of go, just smooth, and it's not like that. You're competing with over hundreds of thousands of people across the globe, possibly depending on what company. And then you're just thinking that's going to be handed to you. That's not going to be the case. You got to work at this, and everybody has weaknesses. Even when I started, I had like my weaknesses that you guys have heard about before, and you're talking about yours, like in terms of you know interviews and not being as confident, whatnot. But you're working through that. You're doing things that you need to be able to be better during your interviews. So that's great. So yeah, that's awesome, man.
Another thing is, it was really challenging in the sense that I applied to so many jobs. I remember one time I checked like how many jobs I applied to in that 6 month period. I kid you not, I applied to over like 500 jobs. For me to just get my first gig,
Yep.
I went through so many rejections. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
is IT for me? I remember like at night when I go to
man.
sleep, I'm like, yo, because every time the emails would come in,
Yeah.
thanks for applying, but went with another
Yep.
candidate.
Yep.
I'm like, bro,
man.
come on.
Yeah.
So at some point you get frustrated for sure, but
Yep.
just keep pushing.
Yeah.
You get your first gig. Once you in, you in.
That's it.
That's all it takes.
That's
the
it.
first one.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Yeah. No, and that's key. I think perseverance is a huge part of like being a tech. I mean, not only from just when you get in, and we're going to talk about this too, but also staying in. Like you got to keep learning. This is a ever changing, ever growing field. This is not like, oh, I get in and I'm gonna run the same command for 30 years to stay in the field. No,
not with Splunk. Splunk, you work with like I'll do something today. Tomorrow is gonna be something way different.
Exactly.
So you learn every day. That's the thing with IT and working with different tools. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, man. All right, cool. So, how's your first job? So, the folks that, well, the interview that you did, that wasn't your first gig. The one that you ended up landing, how was that? How was your first gig?
Interview wise, I killed it. They told me I did really good. It was my first gig. I remember I told you how much I was gonna make, and it was like very, very low, like low ball.
Yep.
And he was like, "Don't worry about that right now. Just take it as your first gig. Just be there at least a year and a half. Just learn. Make sure you learn as much as possible so you can beef up your resume." I did that. I think I did my first gig for like 2 years actually.
Yeah.
And then when I was actually leaving the company, they wanted me to stay.
Yeah.
They were like, "Oh, we're going to convert you." I was a contractor at the time.
Yeah.
And then they told me, I will convert you and then make you our guy. I was like, you guys took 2 years when I'm leaving. That's when nah, bro.
Exactly.
My time is up.
Yeah. No, and we talked about that too, where companies sometimes they see your value, but they understand also the position that you're in. It's leverage, right? So if you are a person that's new and they see you're killing it, but they know that you don't have experience and it's going to be tougher for you to get, another role.
Right.
They're going to lowball you. But at the end of the day, you take what you're being offered, you learn and you grow. And then from that, then you have the leverage now.
Yeah.
Companies, they require skills. So man.
I've come a long way. And you was actually, I mean, you guys already know brothers. They're always hard on each other. He was really hard on me. He would give me like the hardest task I've ever. I would take like 3-4 days to. I cannot figure it out. I'll be like, bro, I've tried everything, and you'd be like, okay. And it'd be like the simplest thing. I'd be like, oh my god, but it was a good learning process. So he's big in my life. So he's helped me a lot.
Yeah. No, I mean the good thing about our relationship is the fact that I can be hard on you, but that it's coming from a place of love. But then also knowing that I know you're gonna give your best to to be good at your craft. This isn't something that you take for granted. You know that this is a life-changing opportunity, not just for yourself, but for your family and for your kids. In the future. The wife, the baby, when they come.
Soon.
So yeah, cool, man. All right. Oh yeah, experience with recruiters. So what was like your experience with recruiters initially versus like now?
Starting wise, some recruiters are technical, so they can tell that you BSing the way you talk. Some recruiters are not really technical, so you can get past them. But the real ball game is during the interview. That's when like you meet like the smart guys, and then once like that one smart guy know like you BSing,
it's fire after that.
They're gonna ask you all kinds of questions. But recruiters were like, some of them were cool. Some of them they would just ghost you. They would take all your information and never reach back out. Now it's gotten better because I would pass like contract work that I've done. Some recruiters reach back out to me once the contract is done, maybe like a couple months later, saying, "Are you still in the job market?" If I am, and then they'll hook me up with like new jobs and stuff. So I have a couple of relationship with a little bit of couple of recruiters.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you mentioned that because I think relationships are very important, not just from your company who you're working with, but also the people who place you there. Because especially from a contractual standpoint, if you're working with a contracting agency, talk about Tech, Insight Global, and all those other companies, regardless of how long your contract is, make sure you stay in touch with those recruiters because they have other roles that they're going to need to fill. And if they know that you've done well with another role already, they're going to look to place you there.
Yep.
I can't tell you the amount of times I got contacted by recruiters off of like old jobs where the manager's like, oh, yeah, you remember Sar, blah, blah, he did a fantastic job. Can you get him back again?
Yep.
And then you're right back in the mix.
Yep.
So
once they know you can do the work and you're good, yeah, they would definitely put in the word for you.
Yep. And the key point with that as well is they get paid to get good candidates there.
Yep,
so they're
true.
looking to get paid as well. There's incentives
true.
on their side as well.
Yeah,
So making sure that, they have the best or at least a good candidate that's going to go there and kill it, they're going to get good bonuses or incentives for placing you there. So, yeah, very important to maintain those relationships, man.
Yeah.
Cool. So your experience now, recruiters, like you can kind of tell, like, well, you get more like internal referrals, because you work with like some
like
of
certain
recruiters before.
Yeah.
But now in terms of like, can you tell when a recruiter's like new versus like like a recruiter's experienced? Because sometimes, and I'll just give an example. I've had some recruiters, they ask me some really elementary questions. I'm like, you're not going to ask this? You're not going to ask this?
I have.
Yeah. So like, what's been your experience there?
I've had a couple where like they ask me like my experience with Splunk, for example, like give them like a quick rundown.
Yeah.
And then I start going into details, and they'd be like, "Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not that technical.
Gotcha.
I've had enough. I got my notes. I would send it to like the hiring manager or the hiring team, and then I would schedule like an interview with like the hiring team.
Yeah.
Some recruiters, they're very technical. They will ask me questions, or sometimes, if, let's say for example, it's like a third party vendor.
Yeah.
The company that has the contract will give them a couple of questions to ask me, like the candidate.
Oh yeah. Like
and then they were
screening questions, whatever. Yeah.
Or like they'll send an email, I'll answer it, or they will ask me right there and then they would just write it down and give it back to them.
Yeah, and sometimes those screening questions, again, just think about it like with any job. It's like to weed out the fakes or the folks who don't really know what they're talking about. And it's not necessarily in depth, but it gives them a good baseline because at one job you may have like over 1,000 applicants, so they got to figure out ways to weed out the the rough. So yeah, man.
And also another thing, sorry for cutting you off.
No, you good.
Another thing too with like some of like the job hiring process. Let's say I go through the interview and I do really good. Some companies will send you like a task to do, where you go and do something and to see if like your skills is really like good enough for their company.
Yeah.
So I've had a couple of those before. So
yeah, no, that's a really good point actually. You brought up. I haven't mentioned this before, but you do have practical stuff that they do where they'll be like, they'll give you a lab. Literally, you go code this or do XYZ, and they want to see like how you're able to like engineer a solution. And depending on who engineers it the best, will probably move on to the next round or may get hired. So there's many different ways to engineer things. There's many different ways to get things working, but there's usually a better way to do things. And I think over time you get to kind of learn those things, as you get more experience within the tech space.
Yeah, and another thing is too, like they can see everything you do. Like if you try to like mess around and do like wrong commands, they can see it. So
I mean,
be careful.
That's literally what we do, right? Like we audit like logs. So I mean, if we're running commands and actions and things like that they can easily trace from the back end, they'll see all that stuff. So, all right. Certifications. I know when we were starting, I think what I always used to tell my students, like, get user and power user. That was like the baseline. Have you done anything past that? Have you?
I got my admin.
Let's go.
I got my admin.
Okay.
I've had it for a while now. I've been stalling to get like the architect and stuff, just because workload is just busy. Because that also takes like time to study to get prepared for the exam, because the exam it's not really easy. But I do plan on like getting like my architect and going up there like cloud.
Good man.
I might also like learn new tools as well. I'm looking into that as well.
Okay. What other tools are you thinking about?
Think about getting like more efficient and in Linux, and also I'm looking into Okta.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the two I'm really interested in right now.
Nice, nice. It's funny you mentioned Okta because Tunde and Prince were on episodes before, and they're like, Okta gurus. They've been doing it for 10 years now. So yeah, those are good folks to kind of link up with.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Cool, man. All right, so I think I talked about this in one of our previous episodes where certifications are 4-year colleges. This is like a hot, hot topic. Like, if you were to advise like some random person who's trying to get into tech, they're like, should I go get my 4-year, IT degree, or can I get my cert in whatever? What would you recommend? No perfect answer. Just like, what would you recommend?
If you don't have African parents, go for the certification. If you have African parents, go to school. Get that degree.
Yeah,
because they will never let you rest. They always be like, so you don't want to go to school, eh? To this day, my parents are still asking me to go get my master's, but
wow, really?
Yeah, wow, them student loans are not no joke now.
Left.
Yeah, left, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think certifications right now is the way to go, because like I've met like a bunch of folks, different jobs, different contracts.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them never went to school, just certifications.
Yep.
And they've been doing IT for like what, 10, 20, 30 years.
Killing
And
the
they're
game.
really smart.
Really
Really smart. Never went to school.
Yep. I mentioned this before. Like, there's a lot of folks from a theoretical standpoint. It's great. If you want to know like the ins and out, like the weeds and stuff like that, that's great. But also from a certification standpoint, there's some folks that they've dug into applications. Mm-hmm. They looked at like tracing at the tracing level. They looked at like from binary compilation standpoint, like how things are compiled. Like there's some folks that really dig into these things, and to me, I think that's it just depends on what you want to do. And either route you take, it's there's no perfect way. It's just whatever works best for you. So
that's true.
Yeah, man, cool. All right, so next question. Now you were talking about doing like certs and stuff like that. Like, how do you increase like your skill sets or like become better in the tech space? Do you do like YouTube? Do you read a lot? Or
so YouTube is one great resource. There's everything on there. Udemy. I use Udemy a lot. Buy new classes just to stay current.
Okay.
Also, I used to like look at news, like new IT things that are coming out.
Smart. Smart.
But nowadays I've kind of slacked off a little bit. Okay. But yeah, those are just the few ways that I keep my mind going and stay current.
Yeah, that's good, man. Udemy, I think it's udemy.com, and you can fact check me. But yeah,
it is.
If you've never heard of it, go there. They have like courses. They have little packages and stuff like that. And it's pretty cheap, right? It's like $9 or something like that.
Yeah, you just gotta wait until like the deals are going.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, and they have like winter deals and summer deals, things like that.
I think they have deals like every other week. Like some of the courses are like $100, $200, but if you wait for the deals, it's like $20, $16. So yeah,
nice.
And they have everything on Udemy. If you want to do IT, you want to do healthcare, you want to do anything, it's on Udemy.
Nice. Yeah, great way to get good training from like experts as well. So
yeah,
it's a great resource. Yeah, definitely recommend it. All right, cool. Do you do anything outside of tech in terms of like business or diversifying like your portfolio, I guess?
Not currently. I've been thinking about getting into business.
Like what specifically?
I don't really know yet.
Okay.
I want to get into something that will be profitable.
Yep.
I don't just want to get into something and then maybe like a couple months I just scrap it after investing a couple of dollars into it. So I just need to sit down and think logically. Or maybe like get some friends that are also in the tech space to just put heads together.
Yeah, that's smart. I know we talked about real estate.
Me and you have talked about a couple of businesses before. Yeah.
Cool, man. All right.
Yeah, real estate is definitely one I'm going to be interested in.
So would you, and this is going to lead into my next question, when it comes to businesses in general, have you thought about doing business in Africa? Not necessarily Sierra Leone, but just Africa.
Business in Sierra Leone?
Well, no, just Africa as a whole. Like, have you thought about doing whether Ghana, Nigeria, or wherever? Have you ever thought about
like any kind of business?
Any kind of business.
Yeah, yeah. I have something cooking up right now in Sierra Leone.
Okay.
I'm not going to disclose.
Yeah.
It's I mean, it already started.
Bobo do.
I did try small, small. Nah, so I'm cooking up just for the future. Like,
Okay.
once I get older,
Okay.
I'm gonna go back. Maybe I'll do 6 months here, 6 months back home.
Gotcha.
But I definitely have some cooking up right now.
Dope.
It's just developing slowly. Yeah.
Nice, nice. So this, I'm gonna track back a bit because you talked about 6 months, 6 months. Have you worked on site and then also remote before?
Yeah.
What's
yeah.
your preference?
I want to know.
Yeah, see?
I want to be home.
Yeah.
Even though, like, I would tell you though for a fact, remote work, you do a lot more work than when you go on site.
Yep. Say that again.
Remote work, you do
Yep.
10 times the work that you do
Yep.
on site. On
Yep.
site, like mostly when I go on site, we'll do work, but like we mostly in meetings for like 1, 2, 3 hours, and then we'll do a little bit of work,
Yeah.
talk, back to work. So when I'm home, there's no talking. Meetings, back to work.
Yep.
Meetings,
Yep.
tickets.
Yep.
So yeah, you do a lot more work, and also like your managers expect you
Yeah.
to do more work since you're home.
Yep.
They cannot really monitor you like that,
Right.
since they can't see you, but like they expect more work from you. So
Yep. No, I second that 10,000 fold if I could. I think there's this sort of misnomer that working from home is easy and you can just chill, wake up, walk in your pajamas whenever you want, just walking around, walking the dog and stuff.
nah.
When that pager duty call hits, you better make sure you're on the phone
And that
get your
phone
butt on the laptop.
That phone does not stop ringing.
Yep.
Text, call, text, call.
Exactly.
And if you don't pick up, it escalates to the next engineer.
Yep.
So you're going to be in trouble.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah. I remember one time, because when you're on call, there's a thing called on call where you have to be ready 24/7.
Yep.
So my first time doing it, I didn't really know it was 24/7. And it was a critical like situation going on. Like a server was down and I slept through it.
Oh, man.
So in the morning, my manager pinged me, was like, Richard, what happened here? I was like, I knew I messed up. I was like, I ain't gonna lie to you. I was gone. I was asleep.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, it's cool. Since you were being honest, it's cool. Like next time, just make sure.
Yeah.
But on call is not easy. I ain't gonna lie to you.
It's no
Yeah,
joke.
yeah.
I've had some really bad on calls in the past where, either they're expecting you like to be like available within 10 minutes.
Exactly.
And some of them it's like if you don't pick up or you don't take the call or do an acknowledgement or whatever it is, it gets escalated to your manager like that. So imagine your manager now calling you on not just on your work phone, on your personal
phone at like 3 a.m. in the morning.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Because they got woken up because you didn't pick up the phone.
So they pissed off.
So now they're mad.
They're losing sleep, but they don't care that you losing sleep. Yeah,
you
it's
need me to
crazy.
stay up with you, huh? We're gonna resolve this ticket tonight.
And also, like, we had this thing. I had this one contract where we had to call the client if something is going off.
Oh yeah.
There were like some escalations where you had to call the client.
Yeah.
I don't know how some clients were up.
Yeah.
Like some of them would pick up like 4 in the morning, 3. I'm like, bro, you're not asleep. But yeah. Some guys are cool though. Like some clients are cool. Some clients they can be like, they can be like really into like, I just need my work done, get it done, and that's it. Some of them they would joke around with you, but some of them, no smile, just get to work.
Yep, that's it. Yeah. I think the consultant, piece is what Rich is talking about. Like, if you are a consultant to like multiple different clients, you're gonna deal with, of course, many different personalities. There are people who are gonna be jovial and like, ready to kind of work and, have fun and be able to mix it. And then there's others who are like just type A, like, hey, did you get the script done?
Yeah.
Did you code it? Come on.
Yep.
Is it working? Did you automate it? I'm like, bro,
You
come
meet
on.
different
Relax.
characters in the IT field.
Relax, my guy.
Relax. It'll get done.
Is it working, my dude? Come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you just gotta be able to like ebb and flow with people, be able to, be technical. I'm the type of person that's, and I think you are as well, where we get the work done, but we like to chill.
Yeah,
so it's not, like to have fun,
in between. You have to.
But cool, man. All right, we're almost done, man. But got a couple more questions.
No worries.
So we've been to Sierra Leone a few times. So what are your thoughts of like And I don't know if you've ever really thought about it, but like the tech space in like Sierra Leone and yeah, just in general, what are your thoughts on like in the tech space?
Like doing tech back home.
Yeah, well, either doing tech back home or just how engineers who are there right now, like, have you ever thought about it from their standpoint, like how tech is in Sierra Leone?
I haven't thought about it that much,
Hmm.
but I know like back home, tech is not as big as here
Yep.
in the sense where, let's say we have a Wi-Fi, the connection might not be too strong.
Hmm.
It might be there, but like
Yeah.
it's gonna slow down. But I haven't
Yeah.
really thought about like doing tech in
Yeah.
Sierra Leone as of right now in Africa as a whole.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Maybe
Yeah.
in the near future for sure, or
Cool.
maybe we can discuss it. And
Definitely.
I know you doing a lot more over there than.
Shine, man, shine. Yeah, shine.
Yeah.
So that's the hope. If any of you are in tech currently and are vested in whatever country, please link up with others. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
hope of like podcasts like this is if, I don't know what the business is already in Sierra Leone, but when you do come out with it, my hope is that we'll have others who are like, oh yeah, I'm interested in doing that too. Can we link up
Sure.
and it doesn't necessarily even need to be tech. I mean, if I know you're big into Afro beats and
Oh
getting
yeah, for
different
sure.
artists and things like that. I think that's a big piece. So yeah,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
cool. All right, so last two questions. I hope I didn't lie and said last two questions before. um, oh, actually, this is actually more of a statement than as the last question.
Okay.
So when I was there, um, internet was shabby. I mean, I made the I think joke before where I was at a hotel and I got like 3 megs, and the manager was like, or was it 2 megs? And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna bump up your speed. I was like, oh, bet. I'm about to get like at least 30, 40 megs. Dude bumped it up like 1 meg. I'm like, bruh, like, come on, man. It's so like 4 megs. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is nothing. So imagine here, I think I paid like $100 or something like that, or 120 for like 1,000 megs. And in Sierra Leone, I'm getting like 4. I'm like, bro, this is
Yeah.
like
It's really
just
slow.
this is terrible.
Slow.
Yeah. So from that standpoint, we are getting Starlink. So I think we were talking about
Yeah,
that.
we're talking about
Yeah,
that
yeah,
recently.
yeah. So Starlink, for those who don't know, again, this is it's satellite based Wi-Fi where you can basically do a lot of things that you can do here, but it's satellite based now. So when it comes to speeds that you normally are accustomed to here, it's not necessarily going to be as much, but it's pretty decent. So in the 100+ megs is not, you know, outlandish. I know some folks from the Slint group who are actually doing that. So my hope is eventually, we can work with junior engineers that are there. I mean, imagine here, we're getting paid whatever we're being paid, but over there, $10 or even $5 an hour for somebody over there. I mean, that's
That's bread.
yeah, for them that's bread.
Like
That's
they'll be
literally
happy.
right. So if you can offset like other tasks, whether it's like documentation or whatever it is, something simple, and you can offset that to somebody else. I mean that's huge, and you're also teaching skill sets to the younger generation and to future engineers. So my hope is that for those who are watching this podcast, that you think about those things because I mean when you look at India, you
Oh
look
yeah.
at Malaysia and some of those other countries, they've done the exact same things, and we don't need to reinvent the wheel. Just replicate what's working and
Right.
get it going. So
So,
yeah, man, cool. But that was just a quick statement. The last question is, what's your ultimate goal in regards to whether it's tech or just like in general? Like, do you plan on being tech for like 40 years or what's
yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
40 years?
No, not 40. Hey, no, 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 no.
Okay,
I want to
so
retire early.
okay.
I want to be in tech for a little bit, for sure. Right now I'm still young and I'm still new to tech, so I just want to keep learning, getting more experience,
Mhm.
get where my bro is at. That's a smart guy right there. One of the smartest guys I know. But I just want to keep building my portfolio, whatever it is. Just get better, learn as much tools as possible. I just don't want to be stuck with Splunk
Mhm.
because you never know. These are like software and tools; they can go away at any point.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, I just want to keep learning and growing. To be honest, that's the main thing right now.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I like that. I think in a field where it's ever evolving and we're in a place where we're constantly competing, not just against like technology's changing, but you get newer and bright engineers. Like,
Right.
quick story at work where young dude, this was like maybe like 3 years ago, he came in and I was supposed to like mentor him or whatever. The guy started telling me about some stuff that he was doing before, and then I started showing him like how to basically like spin up instances and automate that stuff. And he showed me some stuff that I didn't know. I was like, hey, God, I'm supposed to be teaching this guy.
And
He showed me stuff, man, the way I studied that night. It's like, never again.
Never again with a rookie coming.
My goodness, man. Young dude, sharp.
Nah,
man.
they have some IT.
Yeah, them
You
dudes
see
are
like
coming out
a
now.
21, 22-year-old smart.
Come out, yeah, they be ready.
Yeah,
I'm taking your job.
I've been in like troubleshooting calls where nobody can figure it out. Like even Splunk support cannot figure it out.
Yep.
And then we'll call like one of our engineers that's pretty like sharp in that specific like field.
Yeah, yep.
And then they'll come, they'll look at it 1 or 2 times. They'll be like, oh, I know what it is.
Yeah.
And then they'll fix it.
Yeah, yep.
And then in my head, I'm like, damn, Splunk support can I even?
Yeah, yep.
That's kind of crazy, but
No shade, Splunk support.
yeah, no shade, no
Just
shade,
saying.
no shade.
Sometimes
no shade.
I don't know the answer.
Yeah,
You ain't got the answer,
shade,
Sway.
No shade. But yeah,
cool.
they got some sharp guys in IT for sure.
Yeah, man. Bro, thank you so much, man. That's all the questions I got for you. So I really appreciate you being here. So since this is the end, I'm gonna give you some time to, give your handles if anybody wants to contact you, whether from a business perspective or just to kind of link up with you, man. So feel free to, let our guests know how they can get in touch with you, man.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me. This was a great interview or podcast. I liked it very well. Good questions. It gave me a little bit of time to also reflect on my journey as well.
Yeah.
Thinking about it now. This was great. As far as handles, I just have just one main account. I just have a regular Instagram. It's Village Goat 7. VILLAGE GOAT 7. Thank you.
So hopefully you guys learned a lot about using VirusTotal and also Splunk and how to, be able to do like workflow actions and things like that. So if you have any questions at all, definitely feel free to, send us your questions at africansintechnology@gmail.com. Again, it's africansintechnology@gmail.com. You can also hit us up on Instagram at Africans_in_tech. Again, it's Africans_in_tech on Instagram, and all of our other handles you'll see on our links below. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to hit us up. Thank you again, bro Rich.
Yes, sir. Anytime.
So again, my name is Sar Levy, and this is Africans in Tech.